Canada is a growing country, and like every other country that is in their state, like growing, they need immigrants to help them boost their economy. And to this intent, Canada's door is always open to immigrants who will help them build their economy. And so Canada is always devising program. They are always creating program that will enable immigrants to immigrate from their countries of originality to come stay in Canada to help them build their economy. That's what you do as an immigrant. Relocating from your country of originality can be very stressful. And with the stress associated with the relocation is the fear of the unknown. That's one of the biggest fear for every immigrant. You don't know what lies ahead of you. But I'm here to guide you in my only two way. From my experience, I will be able to guide you through the things that I found difficult when I first migrated and how I was able to overcome it. So when you relocate from your country of originality, before you even got there, before you land in that country, the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you have a secured accommodation. If you don't have any friends or you don't have any relative in the city you are going to or in the country you are relocating to, the first thing you want to do is to try to book accommodation by all means. I said by all means because this is very vital. When I went to school in England, I almost got stranded because I just thought if I just get there, then I will just look for a place. Yes, I did get there. And when I got there, I looked for a place from 2 p.m. that I got to the school. I was roaming about until somebody was able to link me with a guy who kind of sublet accommodation to students at that time. And I was so blessed to have to see that he had a room vacant that night. Like from 2 to 7:30 p.m. I was roaming about. That is not a very good experience, especially if you have kids that are coming with you or your whole family. It was a little bit okay for me because that week was the student welcoming week and I left my luggages with the student union reps. But sometimes it might not just be that way all the time. There might not your week of resumption or your week of relocation, you might not have that available. So that is why you want to make sure that you make sure you get accommodation. Thank God for technology, thank God for science, thank God for internet. Nowadays, people don't get stranded because there is Airbnb. You can book Airbnb from your country of originality, at least for the first few days. Once you get to that, once you apply, you book that Airbnb, then you get to your country or the city where you will be staying, at least for the first 2 days or 3 days, as the case might be, or the case may be, you will have a place to call yours to stay, and that way you'll be able to figure out things, So please, even now, I think immigration, they don't really, sometimes you might not be really lucky to bypass like I did. Nobody asked me where I was going to stay So I just skate through. You might not be lucky like me to skate through, because nowadays sometimes the immigration officers at the port of entry would ask you, where are you going? Where is your address? So you need to be able to have that handy. So talking about accommodation, so when you now finally want to get a place of your choice, you want to do it according to your income. you know Coming to abroad, you spend a lot, especially when you are coming from a country with lower currency. So converting that currency to a Canadian currency can be very, very challenging. It will eat deep into your finances. So you want to be very prudent with your spending. So what that means is that when you are in your Airbnb looking for a place, you can look for how to share a place. Like, you can look for shared house, a shared room in a house. If you are single, you can share a house, you can share a room in a house. There are people that might post on Facebook Marketplace. There is a website called Kijiji. If you put it on Google and just you see Kijiji, is a place where people can also advertise. Some people, they are also looking for extra income, and they have more than one room, more than the rooms that they use. They have extra rooms in their house, and they want to sublet. So you might be lucky to have someone who is also looking for what you are looking for. You are looking for a room, and they are also looking for someone to rent their room. So once you get that, that's going to reduce your budget. Because if you want to go through agency, sometimes the agency that rent housing to you in most countries abroad, they will want you to sign contract. You will have to get somebody to stand in as a surety for you. Like, it can be so demanding. So apart from the financial aspect of it, to keep yourself from stress, you can go online to Facebook Marketplace, look for a one room in a house to share, and you get that. So you are saving money and saving yourself stress. So once you now get enough money, or you now feel like, I don't want to stay or share anymore, at least you now have a landlord that can now reference you, because most times they will ask for a landlord reference if you want to rent a home as a newcomer in any country. Okay, so another thing, once you get a roof over your head, the next thing is to start hustling. Hey, also the hustle can be real. So you want to start your application. Sometimes people apply to jobs with the same resume that they bring from their countries of originality. So the first thing you want to do as a newcomer is to go to a job center. In Canada, we have a lot of job centers in cities, especially bigger cities. So you want to look for the closest job center to you. Or even if you don't have, you can even Google online and check for sample of Canadian resume. So once you search all this and you are able to get them, then you now tailor your resume according to the Canadian style. So that will now put you in a good place to get selected for a job offer when you eventually start applying to job. So another thing you want to know is that it can be really expensive in Canada too. Groceries are getting very expensive. So what you want to do, you want to know where to shop for what. Sometimes some people go to shop, you see buy one, get one free. Sometimes they are not really free. That buy one that you are buying and the other one you are getting free can actually buy one for you in another shop. So you want to be very prudent with where you go. Compare prices. If you go online, you can get a lot of shops that have their flyers online. Compare prices before you go shopping. Another thing you want to do is transportation. Your means of transportation is very important. Canada is a very big country, and their transportation is not as strong as the one in the UK. If you've ever lived in the UK and you are now in Canada and you are watching this video, you might attest to the fact that Canadian bus system or commercial transportation is not as strong or as solid as the UK one. The UK, you see buses everywhere. All the 8 years I lived in the UK, I didn't really have any need to buy a car. I didn't. It wasn't like I didn't really need it. There wasn't any pressure to buy one because there were buses everywhere on my route. So why would I need it? Why would I buy a car if I didn't need one? But when I got to Canada, it became a necessity. So must you buy a car immediately? The answer is no. They have buses. They have buses that can transport you. So when you want to buy a bus pass, a day's bus pass in Canada, depending on the city, it ranges from $3 upwards, depending on the city. And again, like in the UK, bus pass is from the time you buy it till 12 midnight of that same day. So you can buy a bus pass in the UK and use it for the whole day. But in Canada, it's not that way. That was one of my shocker when I came. So in Canada, it's not that way. So when you buy a bus pass in Canada, it will only last you for 90 minutes. So anywhere you are going, if you don't finish before 90 minutes, your bus pass becomes invalid. So you need to buy another one. So on that note, buying daily bus pass is not economical. If you are new to Canada, you want to buy a monthly bus pass. That way you can go everywhere and anywhere and you'll be able to save for the rest of the month. Okay? So another thing is childcare, very important. If you are coming to Canada with kids, please, you really need a childcare plan. You need to be able to arrange your childcare. In Canada, you cannot leave kids by themselves. You know, in some part of the country where you are coming from, you might have a next door neighbor and tell your next door neighbor, hey, I'm going to work, my kids are home, please, you can help me look out for them. When I come back, I will see you, or you keep checking on them. In Canada, it's not like that. Unless you have a neighbor that is from your own country. And God save you, if they discover that you are leaving your kids by themselves, you can have your kids taken from you. The social workers will take your kids from you. So you don't want to come to this country and start stressing yourself because of lack of knowledge. So please, if you are coming to Canada with your kids, do try and make a childcare arrangement. It is very important. Any child that is less than 15 years of age, you can't leave them in the house by themselves. You need to be able to put childcare in place for them. Then the next thing you want to know is that there are cultural changes. Cultural shock. A lot of people experience cultural shock. Me, I experienced it when I got to the UK. The first thing, back home in Nigeria, I'm originally from Nigeria. If this is your first time, I'm originally from Nigeria. So in my country, Nigeria, we have high respect and regard for our managers. So my first cultural shock when I went to the UK in my first job was that I got to work, and in my cultural way of saying good morning to my boss, I was almost on my nails, just like you, just saying good morning, ma. And my manager looked at me like weirdly and be like, excuse me, precious, did you just call me ma? I said, oh yes. And she said, sorry, I'm not ma. My name is Margaret. That was her name at that time. My name is Margaret, and I will appreciate it if you call me Margaret. So what I did was that I just called her aside. I said, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I didn't mean any harm. It's just my cultural background. Back home, you cannot call an elder by their names. You have to say good morning, ma, good morning, sir. And she said, okay, I understand that's your culture, but this is not Nigeria. Ah, this is not Nigeria. I said, okay, I'm really sorry. And I also apologized ahead of time. I said, if I ever called you ma, I want to apologize ahead of time. It is going to take me a while before I get used to this whole thing of calling my elders by their names. So there is this cultural shock. And please do not feel offended when they tell you the way they want their things done. You are the one that is coming from another country. You have to listen and you have to learn their way. You have to learn things their way. You don't expect to come to another person's land and expect them to imbibe your own culture. You are the one that came to their place. You have to imbibe their culture. So that's how I started trying to call people by their names. And here we go. Now I don't even find it I don't find any problem calling people by their names. So the only thing is that when I'm going back to Nigeria, I drop that habit at the airport. When I come back, I pick it up. So that cultural shock you will really expect it is really there. So after all these things being said and done, there's a reason why you came here, not to hustle. So you want to look for a job, right? There are so many websites you can look for a job in Canada. The very big one is indeed.com. So you want to create a profile on this website, right? Indeed.com is just one of them. I will list some others, but I just want to let you know how you can go about it. Any job website that you choose to use, you want to first create a profile. After you create a profile, you upload your resume on this job website, and then you indicate if you want a full-time job, a part-time job, or a casual job. So you save all those things on the website. And you can also put an alert on your account that they should notify you via your email anytime a certain job is posted. And they will sure do that. So you can be among the first person to apply to that job. So while you are applying to job, like, oh, sorry, like we have Indeed.com, we have Job Bank, we have Glassdoor, we have Career Builder, we have monster.com, we have eluta.car, we have Canada Jobs, we have Flex Job, and we have Saskatchewan Jobs. So these are some of the job websites. There are still more. So in all these, whichever one you choose, create your own profile. After creating your profile, then upload your resume, indicate if you want a full-time job or a part-time job, and program it and save it and request for alert once any of those jobs are being posted. So while you are looking for a job, you want to understand that whatsoever job you were doing in your country of originality, for example, I as a nurse, when I came in, I couldn't get the title of a nurse until I did the necessary assessment. I got, after my assessment, I got eligibility to write my NCLEX. I wrote my NCLEX, then I got my license. And that was the only time I could start getting bearing the title of a registered nurse in Canada. So, but before that time, what did I just sit down doing nothing? No, I didn't sit down doing nothing. I actually went to do a personal support worker course. The reason is that I was in Ontario at that time, and in Ontario, if you don't have that certificate, you can't get a care job. as at that time when I got there. So I had to do that, and I got a job, and I started working as a care assistant or permanent support worker. I did that, and while I was doing that, I was preparing for my exams, and then I got my license, and now I am practicing in my field. So to some of you, when you are coming, you come with this high hope that, oh, I am a bank manager. When I get here, I'm going to get a job as a bank manager or even in the bank. Bro, sis, it's not always that way. When you come to Canada, you might need to do some bridging course, or you might need to do some registration or a uh, professional exams before you can get that job of your dream. So while you are doing all these things, you need to pay your bills. You need to pay your rent. You need to live life. You need to eat. You need to pay your tuition fee if you are a student. Even if you came in as a PRO, you also need to pay your rent. So all these things put together are the things that you need to really look out for as a newcomer. I hope this has been able to help you. You know, when you see people posing around with big cars, bugaing, it is not always like that in Canada. And please, if you live in Canada, stop giving people false impression about Canada. Don't tell people, you can just get a house 2 weeks after you arrive in Canada. Now 2 weeks you spend before you get your own house. Tell people the hustle is real. But in the reality of the hustle, if you are able to cut your coats according to your size, not even material again, because the material you need, you might not be able to afford it for your size. So please, Canada is a very nice place to stay. Don't mind people saying Canada is too stressful, the high tax in Canada is not worth it. They collect their tax, you do your job, you still have small to keep. And if you are even somebody who can save, you will have some to use, and you will still have some to save to live your life very comfortable. The people that are saying Canada is bad, ask them where they put their hand into. Some of them live very fake lives. Some of them do things beyond their money. I'll be talking about credit card in one of my videos, because a lot of people, they've abused credit card, and they are making it difficult for people to acquire this credit card because of the way they've messed it up. So it's already past 20 minutes. I usually don't like doing any video that is more than that, because then it becomes really boring. I hope this has been able to inform you as a newcomer on how to go about looking for job, your accommodation, how to integrate into Canada, and how to make life and live life comfortable in Canada. If this has been really helpful to you, I want to appeal to you as always, please subscribe. Please, I appeal that you subscribe to my channel and like my channel, watch, comment, and let's spread this news. Encourage me. That's the only way I can get to know that what I am doing is meaningful, is affecting lives, is helping lives. So please subscribe. And in addition to that, when you subscribe, when you come often to watch my videos, to share, to like and comment, YouTube also push my email for my videos to people who will need it like you. So please encourage me as I'm encouraging you, and also help me to spread the good news. They said a tree, they said, cannot make a forest. I can't do it by myself. I need your cooperation to be able to do this. Thank you once more. And if this is your first time, you're welcome again to Global Asset family. Have a great one and welcome to Canada. Wishing you all the best. Bye.